Northern News Now.
Now, this past weekend, Embarrass lost more than just a weather record contender. It lost its local legend. Northern News Now's meteorologist Dave Anderson reflects on the man who helped put Embarrass on the meteorological map.
This is a sling psychrometer. It uses two mercury thermometers to gauge the dew point. This one is useless because the mercury and the thermometer separated. A similar thing happened to Charlie Fowler's thermometer on Groundhog Day 1996. His real name was Roland, but everyone in Embarrass, Minnesota called him Charlie. Charlie was an Army dog handler in the Korean War and a National Weather Service observer for decades. The Minnesota state record temperature was expected to be set in February 1996.
That was a bitter cold month, bitter. Snow was really deep.
Northern News Now meteorologist Hunter McCullough interviewed Charlie in 2021. He heard about how Fowler and Tower NWS observer Kathy Huppa were locked in a friendly duel to set the cold record. At 53 below, the mercury in Charlie's official thermometer couldn't handle the frigid temps and separated. But Kathy's thermometer refused to be stopped and set the record with a -60 reading.
Instruments are sometimes fail, and it failed me that night.
It was a chilling lesson. Charlie ended up getting a better official thermometer in hopes of another shot at the record.
I got one that goes to 100, so I don't never want to see that.
Sadly, he never did. Charlie passed away in his 90s on June 21st. Hunter's band was playing in nearby Babbitt when the news spread through the crowd.
We ended up doing a little tribute to him at the end of the show, and there was, everybody was broken up about the whole thing, and it sounds like he had just a massive impact on the area up there, and he was a sweet man, definitely.
Earlier this year, Charlie's friendly rival, Kathy Huppa, passed away as well.